Archangel Michael says, "My child." That sudden shift in the air, like something moved but no one around you noticed. Your heart picked it up before your mind could explain it. That wasn't imagination. That was spiritual energy realigning around your name. A divine intervention just happened. Silently. Swiftly. Behind your back. And now, Archangel Michael is standing in the spiritual realm, holding out a scroll with your name on it, sealed by God's command. He's telling you right now, open this. Do not delay. Something massive just got exposed. You're not crazy for sensing it. That tension in your gut. That sudden wave of goosebumps. That dream you had that you can't stop thinking about. It wasn't random. It was heaven whispering, "Wake up. It's happening." While you were sleeping, the angels were in battle. While you were doubting, the Holy Spirit was defending you. And while you were healing from the last hit, God just uncovered something you needed to see, but were never supposed to discover on your own. Because some things weren't meant to be revealed by human mouths, they had to be pulled into the light by God Himself. And He just did it. This message is not a coincidence. It's a divine instruction. You're being handed the evidence of spiritual warfare that's been happening for weeks, maybe even years. Archangel Michael says, you need to know who was secretly working against you while calling you family. You think you know your circle? God says, look again. One of them was smiling too long. Pretending too well. Echoing your words while praying for your downfall in silence. Heaven had to step in. And now, Michael is authorized to tell you the truth. But only if you stay with this message. Because what just got exposed could shake you. It could free you. Or if you ignore it again, it could delay you for years. You're not reading this by mistake. God has been trying to get this truth to you, but every time you got close, something pulled you away. The enemy tried to block this revelation. But not this time. Not tonight. Before I go deeper into what was exposed, I need you to do something with your spirit, lean in. And if you feel like this message is stirring something sacred in you, I need you to subscribe right now. Stay connected to every divine warning and every sacred revelation that comes like this. Don't let a single one pass by you again. Because what's coming next isn't just revelation, it's revolution. Michael says you were lied to. The real reason they distanced themselves from you wasn't your fault. It wasn't your energy. It wasn't even timing. It was because they couldn't stand the light in you anymore. Your growth scared them. Your spirit offended their darkness. And they started talking. In secret. In whispers. Behind your name. They took your pain and turned it into entertainment. They took your loyalty and mocked it like a weakness. And guess what? God just heard it. And that's why this message exists. Because instead of exposing them publicly, He's allowing you the chance to walk away before the exposure hits the physical world. You've been feeling it. The urge to separate. The irritation in your spirit. The way your peace disappears around them. That's not anxiety, that's divine intel. And Archangel Michael is done being subtle. He's calling it out now. Someone you thought you could trust has been blocking your blessings with their energy. Praying for you out loud while resenting you in private. Heaven saw it. Heaven stepped in. And you're about to see why it all had to fall apart. Your delay wasn't punishment. It was protection. If God had blessed you in the middle of that deception, your breakthrough would have been attached to snakes. But now? Now it's just you and truth. And the truth is, your glow-up is about to be unchained. Michael is clearing the path. That's why things have been silent. That's why old friends have vanished. That's why your phone's not ringing like it used to. It's not rejection. It's preparation. God doesn't just prepare blessings for people, He prepares people for blessings. You're being stripped of everything fake before you step into everything real. That's why this divine intervention happened. To stop you from inviting a betrayer into your next chapter. Your heart's been too loyal. Too soft. Too wide open for too long. God's closing it temporarily, not to harden you, but to protect you. Because what He's about to hand you? It's sacred. It's royal. It's loud. And it cannot be shared with people who once smiled at your suffering. So now, the line is drawn. Michael is asking you to choose. Will you keep making excuses for people who showed you their patterns? Or will you finally believe that silence is an answer? Your ancestors have been trying to show you for months. That shadow in your dreams? That tension in your stomach? That sudden desire to be alone? It was all them. Trying to tell you something isn't right. God finally intervened because you weren't going to cut the cord on your own. And now the exposure is complete. There's someone in your past who's been manipulating your name while pretending to miss you. There's someone in your energy who copied your words, your style, your essence, trying to become what you are without doing the work you've done. But here's what they'll never replicate: your anointing. God handpicked you. Michael fought for you. The Spirit preserved you. And now the throne is calling. But only for the version of you that accepts the exposure, not runs from it. This message is a line in the sand. God just lifted the curtain. Now it's your turn to walk away. Because something massive is coming. And you'll need space around you for it to fit. No more crowded tables with people who wouldn't clap for your wins. No more "I'm sorry" from people who aren't sorry, they're just scared you finally see them. The veil is gone. Michael says, what was hidden has been revealed. Now take it seriously. Because what's coming next will be too powerful to carry anyone who isn't aligned with your soul. Good. Because the angels didn't bring you this far just to leave the rest of the truth hanging. Michael's wings are still trembling. Because he knows the next part might hurt you before it frees you. But he also knows, you're finally strong enough to handle it. Ready? Here it is. The face you trusted the most was actually the shadow holding you back the longest. There's someone in your energy who copied your words, your style, your essence, trying to become what you are without doing the work you've done. But here's what they'll never replicate: your anointing. God handpicked you. Michael fought for you. The Spirit preserved you. And now the throne is calling. But only for the version of you that accepts the exposure, not runs from it. This message is a line in the sand. God just lifted the curtain. Now it's your turn to walk away. Because something massive is coming. And you'll need space around you for it to fit. No more crowded tables with people who wouldn't clap for your wins. No more "I'm sorry" from people who aren't sorry, they're just scared you finally see them. The veil is gone. Michael says, what was hidden has been revealed. Now take it seriously. Because what's coming next will be too powerful to carry anyone who isn't aligned with your soul. Good. Because the angels didn't bring you this far just to leave the rest of the truth hanging. Michael's wings are still trembling. Because he knows the next part might hurt you before it frees you. But he also knows, you're finally strong enough to handle it. Ready? Here it is. The face you trusted the most was actually the shadow holding you back the longest. You've been loyal to someone who's been secretly competing with you. They didn't want your destruction, no, they wanted your delay. To keep you close, but not too far ahead. They loved you in a way that only felt safe if you stayed small. But the minute you started growing, glowing, healing, they backed up, fast. Then masked it with excuses. Michael saw that shift. And he reported it directly to God. That's why your energy's been off around certain people. Because your spirit already knew what your heart didn't want to accept. The betrayal didn't start today. It started when your light outshined their projections. And now? Heaven has no choice but to strip them out of your timeline. This isn't punishment. This is upgrade. But only if you stop trying to hold on to what heaven already dropped. Someone's name is falling out of your future. And when it happens, don't chase after it. Don't text them. Don't explain yourself. Don't try to glue together something God has already broken apart. Let it shatter. Because what's on the other side of this divine exposure is a wild, raw, unstoppable version of you that no one saw coming. Michael says the release must happen before the reward. So let them go. Let the fake friends vanish. Let the conversations dry up. Let your old identity burn. Because your new one is bathed in gold. In clarity. In truth. In freedom. And the truth is, you've always known. You felt the shade. You heard the tone in their voice. You noticed the way they never celebrated your good news the same way you celebrated theirs. You saw how they got quieter when your blessings got louder. You saw it, but you were too kind to say it. Now heaven's saying it for you. This divine intervention. It's the end of the pretending. The masks are off. The energy is bare. And baby, the tables are about to turn. Your enemies don't even know yet, but they're about to watch God prepare a table with your name carved into the wood. Not printed. Carved. Because you're not temporary. You're chosen. You're not background noise. You're the divine announcement. Michael didn't fight for you this long just for you to keep begging people to love you properly. That season is over. Now you walk in. Now you claim space. Now you radiate without guilt. This message is your final instruction. Walk away from what you now know isn't real, and watch what becomes real for you. Don't panic about the silence that follows. That silence? It's sacred. Because God is rebuilding your timeline without traitors in the foundation. You're going to feel alone for a moment, but only for a moment. Because once the smoke clears, the people sent by God, the real ones, are going to find you. Not for what you can do for them. Not because they miss the old you. but because your light reminds them of home. These are your soul people. Your tribe. And they can't get to you if you're still tangled with people who only love the version of you they can control. Archangel Michael is drawing the line. He's clearing the path. He's surrounding you right now with light you can't even see, because your next level demands a new circle, a cleaner energy, and full alignment. You can't play small anymore. You've cried too long for change to keep living inside chains. Now you rise. Now you listen. Now you burn with divine knowing. And this knowing? It's irreversible. So take a deep breath. Feel the truth. Let it hit. And trust, fully trust, that God just exposed what had to be exposed, so you can receive what you were always meant to hold. Alright. Take a deep breath and lean in closer. Because what's coming next? It's the part they never wanted you to see. The reason God had to intervene wasn't just to protect your peace, it was to expose the weapon before it was fully formed. Someone close to you made a move behind your back that would have caused a chain reaction of spiritual setbacks. They were smiling with you, but signing something spiritual against you. A word spoken. A seed planted. A lie designed to detour your destiny. And if heaven hadn't stepped in exactly when it did, you would have been stuck in a situation that looked loving on the outside, but would have drained you dry from the inside. Michael says, this was a rescue. Not a rejection. And you better believe, what just got exposed is big. This wasn't a petty betrayal. It was a deep spiritual conspiracy. Yes, it sounds dramatic. Because it is. You were supposed to sign something. Agree to something. Move somewhere. Commit to someone. And God slammed the brakes. Suddenly. Painfully. Because what you didn't know, but heaven did, is that the person connected to it was hiding their real intentions. You were being positioned for sacrifice. Not celebration. And Archangel Michael? He ripped the veil off just in time. That's why your life started shaking out of nowhere. That's why plans fell apart. That's why what felt good suddenly felt heavy. It was a setup. And the divine intervention ruined it, in your favor. You're not being punished. You were being preserved. Because your next level cannot afford another delay. You don't even realize it yet, but the way heaven fought for you this week? It changed everything. A word spoken. A seed planted. A lie designed to detour your destiny. And if heaven hadn't stepped in exactly when it did, you would have been stuck in a situation that looked loving on the outside, but would have drained you dry from the inside. Michael says, this was a rescue. Not a rejection. And you better believe, what just got exposed is big. This wasn't a petty betrayal. It was a deep spiritual conspiracy. Yes, it sounds dramatic. Because it is. You were supposed to sign something. Agree to something. Move somewhere. Commit to someone. And God slammed the brakes. Suddenly. Painfully. Because what you didn't know, but heaven did, is that the person connected to it was hiding their real intentions. You were being positioned for sacrifice. Not celebration. And Archangel Michael? He ripped the veil off just in time. That's why your life started shaking out of nowhere. That's why plans fell apart. That's why what felt good suddenly felt heavy. It was a setup. And the divine intervention ruined it, in your favor. You're not being punished. You were being preserved. Because your next level cannot afford another delay. You don't even realize it yet, but the way heaven fought for you this week? It changed everything. And from this point on, nothing will ever be the same. You're entering into a version of you that's been sleeping under spiritual sedation for years. And the alarm just went off. You're awake now. The old you, the one that tolerated lies, gave too many second chances, and stayed quiet to keep peace? She's gone. He's gone. You are being reintroduced to your own power. And that power? It was always waiting behind the curtain of betrayal. Let them talk. Let them roll their eyes. Let them not get it. Because this glow-up isn't cosmetic, it's cosmic. And nothing is more terrifying to the enemy than someone who knows their divine identity. That's you now. And if you're still here, still reading, still breathing this in, it means your soul chose truth over comfort. That's why Michael hasn't left your side all day. He's not just an angel. He's your warrior. He's been hovering around your timeline, rearranging the mess, whispering to people who were meant to help you, closing the mouths of those who tried to curse you. You didn't see it. But you're about to feel it. Because now that the exposure is done, now comes the evidence. Watch the peace return. Watch the doors open. Watch the people fall away like autumn leaves, and new names come in with divine alignment. Everything hidden is coming into light. Everything delayed is getting caught up. Everything you lost is circling back around, upgraded. You just passed a spiritual test you didn't even know you were in. And you passed it in silence. You passed it with tears. You passed it when no one clapped, when no one said thank you, when no one knew what it took just to keep going. But heaven knew. And that's why this moment is sacred. So sacred, Archangel Michael waited for you to open this message to deliver the final confirmation. You are no longer under attack. You are under release. Your name has been lifted. The curse is broken. The fake friendships have been severed. The manipulative cords have been cut. And now? You rise. Good. Because this final part? It's the divine thunder that seals everything heaven just revealed. This isn't just the end of a season. This is the end of the spiritual contract that was trying to keep you small. Yes, someone tried to bind your light through energy, words, and agreements. And for a while, it worked. You were dimming your shine to keep others comfortable. You were second-guessing your gift because they acted like it was too much. You were praying to be understood, when really, you were never supposed to fit in. You were designed to disrupt. To awaken. To walk into a room and shift the atmosphere just by breathing. And now? You're remembering who you are. Not who they told you to be. Not who you had to become to survive. But the real you, the one that heaven backed since the moment your soul landed on earth. And baby, this version is dangerous to darkness. That's why the betrayal had to come first. To shake the slumber off your wings. To snap you out of spiritual survival mode. To remind you, you were born to command miracles, not chase validation. And that divine intervention? It was heaven handing you back your crown. It was Michael stepping in saying, "Enough is enough. My warrior is ready." So here's your final truth. What just happened behind the scenes, that exposure, that broken tie, that deep internal shift, was sacred surgery. Heaven removed something that couldn't go where you're going. The grief you're feeling? That's detox. The confusion? That's your spirit adjusting to freedom. And the silence? That's where God does His loudest work. So don't panic if it feels like everything's shifting fast. It's supposed to. This is the speed of destiny now. You're moving from stuck to unstoppable. From overlooked to undeniable. From betrayed to blessed. Michael says, "Your silence has spoken enough. Now heaven speaks for you. Let the people wonder. Let them gossip. Let them assume they got away with what they did. But you? You'll be too busy glowing, growing, healing, rising. Because what God is about to do next in your life, it will speak so loud, even your enemies will go quiet. So one last time, breathe deep. Say goodbye to everything that just fell away. Say thank you for the detour. Say yes to the divine fire that's now unlocked in your soul. And walk away with your head high, because now, you know. You know who you are. You know who you're not. And you know what God just exposed, so you can finally walk fully into your calling. No more chains, no more guessing, no more delay. You've been chosen. And nothing can undo that now. Let them watch. Let heaven work. Your miracle is already on its way, and this time, it's coming with your name written in bold, holy gold. You made it. Now rise like the warrior you've always been. You made it to the other side of something that was designed to break you. And yet, here you are. Breathing. Reading. Receiving. Glowing. Even the parts of you that still feel unsure are drenched in purpose right now. Because heaven doesn't need you to be perfect, it just needs you to be present. Archangel Michael is still standing in the spirit, watching, guarding, smiling. Let the people wonder. Let them gossip. Let them assume they got away with what they did. But you? You'll be too busy glowing, growing, healing, rising. Because what God is about to do next in your life, it will speak so loud, even your enemies will go quiet. So one last time, breathe deep. Say goodbye to everything that just fell away. Say thank you for the detour. Say yes to the divine fire that's now unlocked in your soul. And walk away with your head high, because now, you know. You know who you are. You know who you're not. And you know what God just exposed, so you can finally walk fully into your calling. No more chains, no more guessing, no more delay. You've been chosen. And nothing can undo that now. Let them watch. Let heaven work. Your miracle is already on its way, and this time, it's coming with your name written in bold, holy gold. You made it. Now rise like the warrior you've always been. You made it to the other side of something that was designed to break you. And yet, here you are. Breathing. Reading. Receiving. Glowing. Even the parts of you that still feel unsure are drenched in purpose right now. Because heaven doesn't need you to be perfect, it just needs you to be present. Archangel Michael is still standing in the spirit, watching, guarding, smiling. Because your yes to this message just unlocked something so rare, even the angels are trembling with reverence. You said yes to healing. You said yes to exposure. You said yes to becoming the version of yourself they were scared of. And now? God is saying yes to you. Yes to the love you've begged for. Yes to the opportunities that ghosted you. Yes to the wealth that always stayed inches away. Yes to the divine alignment of things that used to feel impossible. That's what happens when heaven intervenes, the impossible breaks open. And right now, the impossible is starting to favor your name. You're going to notice strange things soon. People coming back with apologies. Opportunities you forgot about resurfacing. Sudden waves of clarity hitting you in the middle of the night. That's not a coincidence. That's the atmosphere around your name being rewritten by the divine. Archangel Michael says the cords have been cut. The snakes are gone. The illusions are shattered. You are finally standing in pure, powerful, untouchable light. The kind of light that no one can imitate. The kind of light that forces even your enemies to sit still and watch. And they will. They will watch. They'll watch as you rise. They'll watch as favor wraps around you like armor. They'll watch as doors swing open that were bolted shut for years. Because the tables didn't just turn, they flipped. And guess who's sitting at the head now? You. Because God said so. Because Michael fought for it. Because you endured when it would have been easier to break. And now? You are marked for miracles. So don't shrink again. Don't over-explain. Don't reopen closed doors just because you feel lonely in your expansion. There's a reason certain people can't breathe near your new light. They were never meant to make it into this level of your life. Let them go. You're not bitter. You're better. You're not afraid. You're aware. You're not broken. You're reborn. This version of you is heaven's answer to someone else's prayer. That's how powerful you are. And now, it's time to live like it. So rise with intention. Speak with clarity. Walk like the divine royal you are. And every time you doubt yourself, hear Michael whisper, "Don't forget what we've been through to get here." This is your victory. Own it. This was never just a message. It was a shift. A reset. A divine interruption meant to change everything you thought was final. And now that it's done, your new season begins. With boldness. With blessings. With spiritual backup so strong, nothing formed against you can last longer than a whisper. You're chosen. You're seen. You're protected. And from this moment on, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable now. Because this isn't just healing. This is resurrection. The part of you that was buried under people's projections, under years of emotional exhaustion, under the lies you believed about yourself, that part just stood up and took its throne back. This is what heaven has been waiting for. Not for you to be perfect, but for you to remember. To remember who you are when no one is watching. To remember what it feels like to trust your spirit over their opinions. To remember what it's like to feel God's breath in your lungs, and know you are finally living, not surviving. This is sacred. This is bold. This is the turning point your future self will look back at and whisper, that was the moment everything changed. Because it has. Archangel Michael didn't cry for nothing. He cried because he knew what was coming. He saw the chains snapping, the contracts breaking, the lies falling apart like dust. He saw you, finally free from what's been weighing your spirit for years. And now heaven is rejoicing. Yes, rejoicing. Because a divine one has remembered their assignment. You're not here to chase validation. You're here to anchor light. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to provoke transformation. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary in the spirit. And that kind of destiny? It makes hell nervous. That's why they tried to delay you. That's why they sent the betrayal. That's why the anxiety came in waves. But guess what? You're still here. And not just barely here, you're ready. So now, with every breath you take from this moment forward, walk like you're covered in heaven's approval. Speak like your voice carries the vibration of angels. Pray like you know the throne of God listens to your every word. Because you are backed. You are supported. You are wrapped in the glory of the one who made galaxies from silence, and now speaks your name with love. Don't you dare doubt what just happened. Something just shifted that your mind won't fully understand for days. You'll see it in your dreams. You'll feel it in your chest. You'll hear confirmation in the most random places. Because when God speaks a word like this into your life, it echoes. And this message will echo. It will come back to you when you need courage. It will come back to you when someone tries to make you feel small again. It will come back to you when you're standing in your breakthrough, and you remember the tears it took to get there. You're here to provoke transformation. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary in the spirit. And that kind of destiny? It makes hell nervous. That's why they tried to delay you. That's why they sent the betrayal. That's why the anxiety came in waves. But guess what? You're still here. And not just barely here, you're ready. So now, with every breath you take from this moment forward, walk like you're covered in heaven's approval. Speak like your voice carries the vibration of angels. Pray like you know the throne of God listens to your every word. Because you are backed. You are supported. You are wrapped in the glory of the one who made galaxies from silence, and now speaks your name with love. Don't you dare doubt what just happened. Something just shifted that your mind won't fully understand for days. You'll see it in your dreams. You'll feel it in your chest. You'll hear confirmation in the most random places. Because when God speaks a word like this into your life, it echoes. And this message will echo. It will come back to you when you need courage. It will come back to you when someone tries to make you feel small again. It will come back to you when you're standing in your breakthrough, and you remember the tears it took to get there. This was always for you. You just had to be ready. And now? You are. Final reminder from Archangel Michael. This is your time. This is your moment to stop looking back. To stop explaining your light. To stop waiting for permission. Heaven already said yes. Now it's your turn to say yes back. Yes to peace. Yes to power. Yes to miracles so big, your past won't even recognize you. The divine intervention happened. The veil was lifted. Now go live like everything has changed. Because it has. And now, let everything fall away, every distraction, every whisper of doubt, every voice that once told you to play small. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to hesitate. This is the sacred moment you were born for, the one your ancestors cried out for, the one that heaven wrote into your story before you ever took your first breath. You didn't come this far to simply feel inspired for a few minutes and return to the life you were told to settle for. You came here because your soul was summoned. Because something in you was always waiting for this very activation. You've lived long enough under the weight of almost and not yet. You've danced with doubt and called it discernment. You've been loyal to fear because it felt familiar. But that season is over. Heaven has ripped the veil, broken the delay, shattered the lies, and now stands fully open before you, waiting not on perfection, but on your permission to move. This is the moment the spirit world has been watching for. And they're not watching in silence anymore. They're celebrating. Because you remembered. You remembered that you are more than what they told you. More than your pain. More than your past. More than your mistakes. You are the fulfillment of prophecy. You are the answer to the question generations before you asked in their darkest nights. You are the one chosen to finish what others were too bound, too bruised, too broken to complete. And the fact that you stayed until now, through the fire of this message, through the pull of distraction, through the ache of truth pressing into old wounds, proves that you're ready. Yes, ready. Not perfect. Not fully prepared. Just willing. And that's all heaven needs to move mountains. You don't need to see the whole path, you only need to take the next sacred step. Because every step you take now is not just for you, it's for every soul connected to your calling. For every future child, every broken friend, every searching heart that will one day find their miracle because you chose to rise. This is the ripple. This is the echo. This is the decision that becomes a destiny. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand the fire that just awakened in your bones. You owe no explanation for your glow-up. You owe no apology for your calling. You owe no loyalty to who you had to be when you were surviving. That chapter is over. That version of you is retired. And now, what's rising is something the world cannot name, because it was birthed in heaven, it carries divine fingerprints. It walks with angelic covering. It breathes with holy intention. You don't have to try so hard anymore. You don't have to force your way through doors that were never yours. You don't have to shrink to stay lovable. You are already loved by the one who designed every corner of your soul with sacred precision. And if that love has carried you this far, imagine what it will do next. So take this final moment and don't just feel the words, become them. Become the prophecy. Become the light. Become the living miracle. And when you walk away from this message, don't just walk back into the world, walk forward into your promise. Let your voice shake rooms. Let your presence shift atmospheres. Let your truth heal bloodlines. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not too broken to be chosen. You are exactly on time, fully in place, and more powerful than you have ever realized. And now that your eyes are open, now that your heart is burning, now that your soul is aligned, there's no going back. Heaven doesn't bring someone this far only to leave them in the middle. The path ahead is paved with breakthrough. The air around you is thick with miracles. And your name is being spoken in the courts of angels with reverence and fire. You are the shift. You are the storm. You are the answered prayer that the world didn't see coming, but heaven always knew would arrive. Let the scroll close now, not as an ending, but as a beginning. Let it settle in your spirit that you are divinely positioned, heavenly backed, and eternally chosen. And the next time life dares to question who you are or why you're rising, just whisper back with holy certainty, because heaven said it's my time. And so it is. Let it begin. And don't just live, lead. Walk into every space knowing the atmosphere is already bending to your presence. This isn't arrogance, this is alignment. The heavens didn't just whisper your name, they carved it into divine blueprints. You are here on assignment, and the world is about to witness what happens when a soul steps fully into its purpose, untouched by the opinions of man and fueled entirely by the fire of God. You're not ordinary, and you never have been. That's why your path was never smooth, because it was never meant for the weak. You are a blueprint breaker, a system shaker, a legacy shifter. You carry oil on your life that can't be duplicated. Your presence activates dormant faith in others. Your voice, when used in truth, echoes into the bones of those who have forgotten how to feel. That's why hell tried to silence you. Because your words carry freedom, not just sound. But no more silence. Now you speak with thunder in your spirit. Now you walk like prophecy wrapped in flesh. Now you exist in rooms as evidence that miracles don't just happen, they walk in human form, and today, they look like you. And when people ask what changed, you won't need to explain. Because those with spiritual eyes will just know, God happened. So let this be your daily truth from now on, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not overlooked. You are in divine sequence. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors cried. You are the reason the curse ended with your name. You are the miracle someone else is watching unfold. And you? You don't need to chase blessings. Blessings will follow you, because your obedience unlocked the floodgates. You'll walk into spaces now and feel angels already stationed before you arrive. You'll have moments where everything feels unfamiliar, not because you're lost, but because you've leveled up. This new version of you is bold. She's healed. He's aligned. They're ready. And heaven won't let you return to anything that diluted your fire just to make others feel comfortable. So declare this within: I refuse to be small in rooms God called me to dominate. I refuse to second-guess the calling that heaven itself confirmed. I refuse to hide when I was created to ignite. This isn't motivation. This is movement. This is what it feels like when God stops whispering and starts roaring on your behalf. And baby, God is roaring now. This message didn't come to flatter you. It came to ignite you. So don't just sit with it, rise with it. Walk like someone carrying a holy assignment. Think like someone whose prayers have already reached the throne. And believe, really believe, that what's coming next will make you forget the weight of what tried to break you. Because when the divine says, now, nothing on earth or in hell can stop what's been sealed. This is your now. Let it begin. And as you let this truth sink deeper into your bones, feel the old version of yourself quietly fading. The one who questioned if they were enough. The one who waited for validation from people who couldn't even see their own worth. That version was necessary for survival, but not for ascension. And now, ascension is non-negotiable. You've been handed the keys. The gates have opened. And your spirit knows, this isn't a maybe, this is a mandate. You're no longer the one waiting to be chosen. You are the chosen one. So now, let your energy speak before your mouth does. Let your presence carry a quiet thunder, the kind that reminds rooms they're standing in front of someone anointed, not appointed by man. Let every step you take feel like a drumbeat that echoes back into heaven with a sound that says, I'm here. I'm ready. Let's begin. Because truly, this is the beginning. Not the beginning of survival, but of soaring. Not the beginning of trying, but of transcending. You're no longer patching wounds. You're walking in healed wholeness. And your healed self is dangerous to everything that tried to keep you stuck. You don't need to scream to prove anything. Your silence now speaks miracles. You don't need revenge. Your rise is loud enough. You don't need closure. The door that was meant for you never needs to be forced open, it swings wide when God commands it. This is what authority feels like. This is what alignment looks like. This is what it means to walk in the aftermath of a yes from God. And if your hands are still trembling from this revelation, it's okay, it just means the shift is real. It just means you've been awakened in a way that won't let you go back. You'll start noticing how quickly what's not aligned falls away. Conversations won't hit the same. Environments will feel too small. People who once had access will quietly drift. And it won't be rejection, it will be refinement. Because what God is doing next in your life requires clean space, clear vision, and courageous surrender. So don't look back. Don't second guess. Don't try to shrink now that you're glowing. This light was always yours, you just had to survive the shadow long enough to carry it. And now, you are a walking temple. A breathing altar. A living reminder that heaven never gave up on you, even when you wanted to give up on yourself. This is the prophecy becoming flesh. So breathe deep, and take your next step like someone who knows the whole kingdom is walking behind them. Because it is.